Gita is an ocean of knowledge. These are the words of Lord Krishna himself. Lord Krishna was an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Today, I will be deliberating on chapter 2 of Srimad Bhagwat Gita, popularly known as Sankhya Yoga. This chapter deals with knowledge and attainment of liberation through true knowledge. When Arjun, the great warrior of the Mahabharat war, was distressed to see his own relatives, respected teachers, and kinsmen among his enemies in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was moved and disturbed by the thought of destruction and havoc that the battle would cause. He found no good result of the battle. Withdrawal symptoms overpowered him. Then Lord Krishna revealed to him the truth of the universe through Gita. Lord Krishna revealed to him the truth of the universe through Gita in the battlefield. He said that we are not objects of grief. We always have existed in the past and will exist in future also in the form of soul. The soul is immortal, indestructible, infinite, everlasting, and immutable. As a person grows from childhood to adulthood and from adulthood to old age, after death, the soul moves from one body to the other. As we change our clothes when it becomes old, the same way the soul changes the body. The soul does not die with the body. Pain and happiness are results of contact between sensory organs and their objects. These are illusory, transitory, and temporary. The sensory organs exist in the body and not the soul. So the soul doesn't feel the pain. So we are not objects of grief. Lord explained the path of equanimity and neutrality. A person who lives in equanimity and neutrality, a person who has attained equanimity and neutrality, doesn't get elated by happiness, nor does he get agitated by sorrow and pain. Lord explained the permanent nature of the real, the soul, and the temporary character of the unreal, the body. He explained that if someone thinks that the soul is the slayer or the soul is slain, both of them are wrong. The soul neither takes birth nor it dies at any time. The soul is eternal, imperishable, and infinite. It cannot be destroyed. Fire cannot burn the soul, water cannot wet it, and air cannot dry the soul. One should not get elated by happiness, nor one should get agitated by sorrow and pain. He explained the permanent nature of the real, the soul, and the temporary character of the unreal, the body. The soul is indestructible. The soul is incombustible. It is insoluble. It is infinite and invisible. The soul is eternal, all pervading, infinite, immutable, and primordial. The soul is inconceivable and imperceptible, and therefore it is improper to lament on the death of a person. Death of a person is only movement of soul from one body to the other. Even if it is thought that the soul takes rebirth, then also it is not a topic to lament on, because death of a person born is certain and nothing can be done about it. Similarly, birth of a dead person is also equally certain. The soul becomes manifest during the period between birth and death. It remains imperceptible before birth as well as after death. Lord further said that battle for a right cause is an appropriate conduct. Thus, Lord revealed the truth of universe before Arjun and asked him to come out of the withdrawal symptoms and do his duty. Lord said that the battle had already come to Arjun. Arjun had not invited the battle. He therefore must fight the battle to uphold justice. Lord Krishna further said that if he does not engage in the war, it will amount to abandoning his natural spiritual duty, and his reputation will suffer and in turn will invite sinful reaction. Lord again explained the importance of the path of equanimity and neutrality. A person who has attained equanimity and neutrality remains equipoised in sorrow and happiness, in victory and in defeat, and in profit and in loss. Lord Krishna also explained the importance of unintended action and duty, action without motive, action without intention, action without a, a target. Unintended duty releases a person from the bondage of reaction and results. Thus, there is no loss in a rightful endeavor. There is no diminution of result. Here, one must distinguish between spiritual intelligence and material desire, or else the person becomes prone to danger of reaction. Some persons presume speculative interpretations advocating attainment of lustful desire, aiming at heavenly world, glorifying only the statements which are pleasing to their senses, performing numerous rituals productive of good wealth and power to ensure worldly pleasures. That is not appropriate. It only distracts from concentrating on the Supreme Lord, the ultimate truth. A person must therefore take to prescribed activities, but never at any time in their result. One should never be motivated by the results of the action. One should never be motivated by the results of the action, nor should there be any attachment in not doing one's prescribed activities. In such case, one should remain equipoised in success and failure. The equanimity leads to yoga. The equanimity leads to yoga. Yoga is unity, unity of individual consciousness with supreme consciousness, unity of soul and the super soul or ultimate soul. With such unity of consciousness, a person transgresses the boundaries of result of action and attains liberation. They are liberated from the bondage of birth and death, attain tranquility. The person is freed from karmic cycle of rebirth. Arjun then asked the characteristics of a liberated person having spiritual conscience. Lord Krishna answered this. Lord Krishna said that such a person gives up all desires for sense gratification produced within the mind and becomes satisfied with the realization of the self in the pure state of the soul. He does not have desire for happiness. He is not disturbed by distress and is free from attachment, fear, and anger. His mind is steadfast in superconsciousness. He neither rejoices in attainment of good nor does curse when he gets evil or bad. He withdraws his senses. He withdraws his senses from their objects, as does the tortoise withdraw his limbs. Since the very desire for sense enjoyment ceases, even while he withdraws his senses from their objects, the enjoyment remains. He remains in the state of bliss. Lord Krishna cautions that the senses are turbulent and difficult to overpower. They can forcibly lead astray the mind of even a vigilant person. Meditation on Lord Krishna is of great help in controlling the senses and attainment of true knowledge. While concentrating on objects of the senses, a person develops attachment to the sense objects. From attachment, desires arise, and from desire, anger arises. Anger leads to delusion. Delusion leads to loss of memory. Forgetfulness of memory brings loss of intelligence, and that in turn brings devastation. The man who has mastered his mind attains serenity. Senses free from their attachments and controlled by mind bring objectivity in approach and paves the way for liberation. Mind of such person becomes steadfast. His reasoning is free from attachment and suffering give away. His reasoning is free from attachment and sufferings give way. Since lack of control on mind takes away spiritual intelligence and wisdom, meditation on ultimate truth is not possible with wavering mind. Without meditation, peace does not come and bliss is not attained. The wandering mind that engages in senses is led astray in the same way as the wind drifts away a boat from its course on the water. So, there is a need to withdraw the senses from their objects and make the spiritual intelligence and wisdom stable. Attainment of ultimate knowledge is possible only with subdued senses. The sage with subdued senses and controlled mind is awake in what is night for all living beings, while it is night for him when all other living beings are awake. As the vast ocean remains calm and undisturbed by the rivers flowing into it, so an enlightened sage remains calm and undisturbed of desires coming to him. One who desires the objects of senses cannot get enlightenment. I would like to say further here that we must think of ourselves as vast and calm as ocean and free from desire. If that happens, whatever will come to us will not be able to disturb us and will keep us free from fear and anger. A person who gives up all material desires for sense gratification, he lives in peace, free from attachment, ego, and sense of ownership. He knows that nothing belongs to him. On attaining the ultimate knowledge, he is not deluded and at the time of death attains unity with the super soul and is liberated from the cycle of rebirth. Om